Action.
Because you...
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm behind the scenes. Welcome to the podcast. Still to come up with a name, but for now, we're just going to do an introduction to these lovely, lovely human beings, Star and Bronnie. So bear with us. Let's take it away. Introduce yourself, Bronnie. Who are you?
Hi, I'm Bronnie.
Mm-hmm. What else?
What else?
What makes you Bronnie?
What makes me Bronnie?
Yes.
Very special Bronnie. What makes me Bronnie? I don't know. Bronnie's worked in nursing for quite a lot of years.
I can introduce Bronnie for you.
I don't know who's Bronnie. I can't bang about myself.
Her name is Bronwyn Ann Finlow.
No, don't put my name. Don't put my whole name. That's Bronnie. Bronnie.
All right, this is Bronnie Finlow.
No, Bronnie. No last names.
Oh.
No.
You're introducing yourself.
Just Bronnie.
But we're gonna be tagging you
No
anyways.
last names in
We
it.
have to tag you.
No last names in it.
Hey, you're not going to put that in.
I am.
No last names. No last
Okay.
names.
have to.
No, I don't.
Okay.
You don't. Just Bronnie.
How about this?
No.
Star, you can start off by introducing yourself and what makes Star Star.
We were introducing Bronnie though.
No, I think Bronnie just needs a bit of a cup of tea break for like 2 seconds while Star introduces Star.
I was going to pick pointers from Bronnie.
Exactly.
No last names.
Okay.
I will put in my last name.
No
Okay.
last names.
My name is Star. Sitavile. Dawana. I am a mother of three. Mother of three girls, married for God knows a very long time to a very wonderful, wonderful man, Michael. I work in mostly health and NDIS. I was originally born in Zimbabwe, grew up in Bulawayo, and moved over to the United Kingdom, studied my nursing. Then moved over to Australia and I worked in health, mainly older persons. Then moved over onto community for a while and then jumped the plunge and started Triple S, started working with Triple S. I met Bronnie in 2008. When I moved over to Australia, and that was fun and games. We worked at a facility here in South Australia, and that's me in a nutshell, really. Yeah.
Okay, great. We're gonna unpack that a bit later. Bronnie.
So hi, I'm Bronnie. I started out my life as a nail technician. And felt that after my second child was born, so I have two girls, a wonderful husband, and I felt that there was more that I could do, so I went into became a care worker in 2000, and then I thought, no, there's more, so then I became an enrolled nurse in aged care. We then moved to Port Lincoln, where I did, which was great because I did a lot of my nursing through Port Lincoln, through retrievals, through the flying doctors coming in through different areas. Then my father got unwell, so we moved back to Adelaide, and I was a bit lost where I was going to go. So I did anaesthetics, and then I went agency, and I fell into older person's mental health, and I have been ever since. From 2007, I've worked in older persons to today now, where I work for Triple S.
Wow. That is very, very nice. See? You did the introduction after all, so I don't know why you were scared. But yes, so this podcast basically, what's this podcast about in a nutshell? Maybe 3 sentences. What's this podcast going to be about?
I think we've been talking about wanting to podcast for since 2023. It's been a long, long time coming. but we've always just been putting it off. And then today, our lovely Bronnie, she posted something on LinkedIn, and I just thought it was really quite touchy, very, very touchy, a bit personal, but she's always been very passionate about looking after people with dementia. And I thought, just to pay homage to the journey that she's been through, and pay homage to her strength and her resilience, and to her mum and to her dad. We just thought this would have been a perfect time to start, because Ronnie has that perspective where she looks at things in every direction, from a nursing point of view, from a carer's point of view, from a family member's point of view, because she's been through the dementia journey for quite a few times. And and I just thought today would be perfect.
Anything to add, Bronnie?
So my post was because it's 21 years today that I lost my father. He died with cancer, but my mother cared for him. My mum also cared for her mother, her father. She was a carer in general. And anyway, so my journey was in Port Lincoln. The reason I came home was to help mum with dad, because he was nursed at home because she wasn't having it any other way. He was going to stay home, that was it. So we had wonderful nurses came in that would help dad and help mum with the pain relief as it got worse. Prior to my father going to the better side, I suppose, he said to me, look after your mother. And I thought, great, look after your mother. So I had to look after mum. So things were great. And 2011, we started seeing signs of my mum. So we thought, okay, it's time maybe. So I packed the kids up and moved down to live with my mother, and my husband wasn't any room, so we lived separate, but we had date nights. Date nights are good. And so the journey through that dementia, watching her, caring for her, I was working full-time night shift. My girls were old enough to be able to be home to call me if anything had happened, and Star shared the journey with me. We have some funny times, and I know people will think, what do you mean funny times in dementia? But you have to pick the funny side, otherwise it's just going to, what's the word for it?
It'll eat you up.
Yeah, it'll just eat you up. You have to pick the funny sides, and even today I look back and I can still see some funny sides, but it still stays with you, no matter how long it's been. It's still fresh. And mum's time, and I still remember her words, when I went in to see her, because I promised I wouldn't put her in care, but unfortunately she had a stroke, so I had no choice, and because the girls weren't able to change her and do all that. So I put her into care, which was awful, but it had to be done. And
I think we can actually touch on that, where you say you had no choice. That was after the mum had a stroke, but it was the journey leading up to, your mum having a stroke and you working full time. It's like that. You have to go to work to get, your money for you to be able to pay your bills and everything. And being a nurse as well, you still had to do your drug counts, you still had to do all of this. So you had to be mentally, physically, emotionally there at work. And then it didn't finish there, because like you said, we were working in older persons, you were looking after these people. You give so much of yourself when you're doing that at work. But, I used to be able to clock off and go home, get some sleep. I dropped the kids off, do what I needed to do, but then you didn't clock off. It was like actually coming to work was more of a rest because you had to go home and actually start doing the shift. And unfortunately that shift, you know, there is no clocking out on it. It's just
not the
constant.
carers. Carers are constantly there, and I think carers get forgotten a lot of the way, that you're just there, you're just going to do it. But it's an important thing that carers need that time. It's a bit like we all rush to offer a parent that's got a newborn baby or a child that's younger, and we'll say, "Oh, we'll look after you, go to the shop." It's no different to somebody caring for someone living with dementia. It's the same thing, and it's very important that we all support the carers of the people that are living with dementia, because if they're no good, there's no one to care for the person that's living with dementia. Yes, I did used to come home, and one of my worst mornings, she opened the front door and I thought, oh my God. We won't go right into it, but I had to do a lot of cleaning and a lot of showering and a lot of getting her ready and getting her breakfast. And by the time I got to bed, about an hour later, she's come in again, and she wanted her breakfast, but she'd already had that. So I got an hour's sleep that day, and I rang Star because I needed someone to talk to. And then I got the giggles because the sight I saw, I had to giggle because it was funny. I thought, how does this happen? Because if you take it serious, yes, I was angry too. I was angry, and I didn't take it out on her. I was just angry. I thought, why? And I started learning what happens in dementia. Like, it wasn't her fault, and we need to remember that. It's never their fault because they don't understand. We need to support them with their own journey, because my mother was never like that. She changed, and I'd lost my mum. I'd already lost her, so I was that part of that grief. I'd lost her, so we had to do the best we could, and yeah, so that's when, you know, the stroke, and I had no choice. And a lot of carers are faced with that they believe that they're never going to have them go into care, but sometimes you don't have that choice. But what's good now is working with Triple S as well, is there is a choice. They don't have to go into care with the right supports, the right people, the right team, meaning that with all your allied health, your doctors, providers, support coordinators, everybody that's on that same page, and your support workers, they can live at home or in supported living. They don't have to go into these, and they can thrive, and I've seen it. And so this is why it's very important. And I guess I was just reflecting today, and what I want to touch on too, just prior to Mum passing, she said 3 words to me that still stick in my head, and that was faith. I said, "What's the matter, Mum?" And she said, "Nothing." And I said, "What's happening?" And she said, "Oh, it's faith, hope and pneumonia." So my mum had asthma. She had terrible lungs all her life, and she knew, and I believe that she did go from pneumonia, but it wasn't picked up at the time. And then she passed. But I will say one thing that nobody will understand what I'm going to say, that the grief we suffer the first time is the hardest. The grief we suffer when they've gone is the easiest, because they're at peace. And I know that might sound really weird for people, but that's just how my personal feelings were, that she was gone. She was able to not be in pain and just be in peace. So that's my journey for today. I do think of things a lot, all the time. It never leaves me. It's not something you can ever forget. My mind never stops, so I see lots of things. And so this is why I take it where we are now, to support people and understand in the families and what they go through.
it's not easy. It's really not. I can only speak from supporting like a friend, and actually, you know, it's funny now when saying supporting a friend, like when you were in the midst of everything, we never looked at it that way. It wasn't like I'm supporting a friend, you know. I knew it was hard, and I knew she came, there was one day where she where she came on shift, and I swear she looked like she had just finished another shift. She looked so tired, and in my head that day I thought, hang on, we still got a 12-hour shift to do, and you're gonna go home and it's not gonna stop, and it's going to continue, and how do you do this? So don't mean to put you on the spot, but when I met Bronnie, she was a size 16. Sorry again, like she's not this, and in a good way, you know. She was a size 16. So I watched this woman shrink from, oh, I'm gonna get upset and you're not upset. I watched this woman shrink from a size 16 and just kept getting smaller and smaller. But she always kept positive. She always, I always used to say to her, you're like a woman with AAA batteries, because she never stopped. And part of me in my head, at the back of my head, I always thought maybe if she stops, you know, it'll be the day where she'll just go gah, and she'll just collapse. But she didn't. She just kept going. And that's why at the beginning I said it was her resilience and the love for the job. And literally the job was at work, where we worked, and at home, because it never stopped. It was just a constant 24/7. She never lost it. She still thought outside the box with some of the strategies that we used to utilize for our clients where we worked. And, you know, Bronnie would sit with somebody, you know, a whole 2-3 hours and hold their hand up until they fell asleep. And I used to always look at that in awe, and I would be like, wow, like, how does she do it? Honestly, how? Because you give so much of yourself at work, and you give so much of yourself at home, and then when do you actually have the time to fill up your cup or fill yourself up so that you have the energy to do all of this or spread all of this love that you're doing? That I always used to think, wow. And then on top of that, you know, kids still went to private schools and all the bills had to be paid, and she just did absolutely everything. And now when looking at it, there wasn't anything for carers back then. There wasn't anyone, you know, that would ask her, hey, are you okay? I mean, we would talk, we would laugh, but there wasn't any official capacity that would actually say, you know, Bronnie, how are you coping? Are you okay? And hence, like now, you know, we want to make sure that the families that we look after, we let them know that, you know, dementia or mental illness or Alzheimer's or anything like that, it doesn't only affect the person, but it affects the family members, because they remember. So we always, and they're going through it, so we always want to make sure that they are also listened to, they are also looked after. On my end, just, you know, from what seeing my best friend went through, yeah.
So superwoman, Bronnie.
She is.
Superwoman's getting tired now.
Yes, superwoman needs filling as well. You might be superwoman and be able to do all of these things, but you have to be able to fill up your cup or your bucket.
I think one thing I've found, moving on to, and I mean there'll be more coming later, but I just want to touch on one thing, is that families, because I have another experience I went through as well, we'll touch on that later, but I found that families find it hard to, because of their grief, they find it hard to let anyone in, and there's a denial process of it. I think that families and carers need to let people in and work with them and understand exactly what's going on instead of fighting, because there's no point in fighting about it. Nothing's going to change. It is what it is. You just all have to be on the same page. Because what I'm going to reflect on later is how the family no longer talk. And it come down to simply that one didn't understand and wouldn't listen, wouldn't accept it from the medical, from nothing, would only listen to a friend. And I get we've got to have friends, but we can't take that advice. We have to listen to people that know and understand, that they're there to help you, not there to take over your loved one, is to make it easier for you. So you can still have a great life with them, because you can. Because you can reflect on the good bits. And you can have a laugh. They do have things. They can be quite funny, like they're enjoyable. And so many times at work, I'd sit down, have my lunch with them, and I had coffee with them. I never went out on breaks. I'd go sit with who I was caring for, and we'd have some great laughs and some great things that happened, which we'll touch on later, because I could bang on all day about it. But yeah, so that's the important thing.
So, yes. Today was all about just a bit of a reflection on this lovely woman's journey to get here, and the post that she made today. It must have been really hard. But at the same time, we just want, people to understand that there's rawness and there's realness, and, for carers out there, that you're not on your own.
No, you're not. You just gotta, but it's hard. It's hard for somebody to tell you, and with the background I have, yes, I think every day, oh, here we go, I'm going to end up somewhere, sometime, probably, with dementia. But I have all that sorted. My girls know exactly, and my husband know exactly what to do. But you just, I can't say accept it, it's very hard to accept. You've just got to listen. Listen to people that understand dementia. You don't have to do it on your own.
Okay, well, we will put links to your LinkedIn. I'm sure, Bronnie, you've got Facebook.
I don't have Facebook.
Okay, we'll put your social handles in the description below. And yeah, we'll take it from there. So Instagram, Triple S, Facebook as well as Triple S, LinkedIn, Triple S, and this will continue. Hopefully we'll be posting once every fortnight, but we will be on socials pretty much every day. So keep a lookout. And hopefully next time we'll be joined by a special guest. We won't say who, but for now, I think that's a wrap. Thank you so much, Star and Bronnie, and the voice behind this is me, Vanessa. But with that being said, everybody have a good day. Any last words, Bronnie? No?
Have a good day.
All right, well, that's a wrap. Thank you.